What's going on, guys? Bingo here, and today I'm bringing you my Dark Magician deck profile. Now, it's not exactly pure Dark Magician, but I've been playing this deck for like a month straight, and I have messed with it, and this is by far the best variant that I could come up with. Dark Magician has a lot of problems. Now, I just got back from my locals. This is the last time I'm attending that locals before I moved, so we had a lot of fun. It was just like play your favorite decks, play them as competitively as possible, as well as just, you know, just having a good time. We had 4 rounds and the deck performed amazingly. This is the first time I played this version of the deck, and it's by far, again, the best competitive way I found to build Dark Magician. And I'll explain the card by card as I go through and just why I picked the cards that I did. I'm gonna be going over the main deck, the extra deck, and the side deck. The side deck's kind of a joke because, like I said, it was the last event that I'm playing at this locals before I moved, so we just wanted to have fun with it. But with that being said, I'll get back into it. All right, so we have a heart and soul of the deck, Dark Magician. There's no argument, you have to play 3. The only games I lost was games I didn't get to this card, which is amazing because I'm playing so many ways to get to this card. But it is what it is. Again, the deck performed really well. Something very unusual, if you've seen any of my other Dark Magician deck profiles, which might not actually be on YouTube, so you probably haven't. Triple Apprentice Illusion Magician. Now, I was a very big advocate that this card was like, it was almost worth cutting, but in this version of the deck, and you'll see why. This card's just super important. It's a free body. It fills your graveyard. It's a level 6 body to search, summon off navigation. It provides an honest effect, like it guarantees Dark Magician in hand, and opening multiple of these, going second or first, is actually really not bad because of Ebon Illusion Magician, as well as another card in the extra deck. But talked enough about this. It's just a very solid card. The key normal summon for the Dark Magician side of the deck is 3 Magician's Rod. If you don't see this card, if you don't abuse the effect to recur it, you're not going to win the game. You need to get this card in your hand, and you need to make sure you have all of the pieces of your Dark Magician engine online. Circle, Eternal Soul, or Navigation, ideally both, so that you can just spam the board and then kill them, because it's really not hard to OTK. If you open Navigation and Circle and Eternal Soul, is relatively easy. So I'm not going to talk about that. Just make sure you're utilizing the effect of this of the grave effect as much as you possibly can, assuming you're not going to die. And then the other normal summon of the deck is we're actually playing 3 Alistair the Invoker. Another one of this is my favorite, I'd say, rogue deck that we can viably play, because Dark Magician, despite what I may believe, is a casual deck, but this is a solid supplemental engine that synergizes very well with the rest of the deck. It's a spellcaster. It's a free tribute for illusion magic if you don't open Rod. It generates a lot of pressure on your opponent because of cards like Macabre and Purgatrio, as well as Caliga. Surprisingly, Caliga is a very good card in this deck. It slows the game down for your opponent, as well as, you know, it really helps you live a turn, and you do need a turn to set up with this deck. On top of that, another supplemental engine we're playing is 3 Destrudo, the Lost Dragon's Frisian. It's a dark. It's a free discard off Apprentice. It gives you a follow-up, and it applies so much pressure with Mare being in your deck that you can do things that you shouldn't be able to do. The problem with this deck is it's slow. It's trap based. You can't really explode unless you have setup. So if your opponent stops your strategy, a normal summon of a Rod with Destrudo engrave is an OTK if they can't stop it. So you need to bait as much stuff as you can and just go off. So this engine was absolutely amazing, besides Mare just sticking in my hand every single game, it felt like. But when I didn't draw it, it was just phenomenal. Onto the spells, 3 Dark Magic Circle. This card's so good once your engine's online. Until then, you know, whiffing this without Eternal Soul or Navigation, or having those and not having Dark Magician sucks. But the way I built this deck is I wanted to abuse the stack effect of Dark Magical Circle as much as I possibly can, because yes, you might not be able to add Rod to your hand, you might not be able to add Destrudo or, you know, these other power cards in your deck, but there's other draw spells that we utilize to make sure that we're getting to those cards. On top of that, we're playing 2 Illusion Magic. Now, I know 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician and 2 Illusion Magic. Like, how many Dark Magician do you need? But this card is really good for generating free advantage off of your Alistair, you know, abusing your Magician's Rod. It's just a really good card, and you have to see Dark Magician. If you don't, you're going to lose the game. And then we're playing 1 Dark Magic Inheritance, which I was actually originally playing 2 Solemn Strike, and I cut those for this card as well as another card because it's just a free activation. You do have a lot of fodder spells in this build of the deck, and it's really, really good. Just being able to search that other spell and trap that you're missing. You can grab this off Circle and just get another free search. I'm enjoying it. A lot of the lists I was playing prior didn't have enough just fodder spells that you can fuel this going first. Sometimes it does suck to open, but you know, I opened it 1 time out of 12 games tonight, so I'm happy with where it is. Now onto the non-Dark Magician spells. We're playing 3 Magical Meltdown to get to our Alistair, and it's just the Invoked engine supplemented by the Dark Magician engine, or however you want to put it. It's just so strong. The Invoked engine, as long as you have more than 1 line of play, that's where the deck struggles, is when you just have 1 line of play and your opponent stops it. That's like traditional pure Dark Magician. This provides an alternative way to play. They stop all your stuff, and then you just slap Macabre, or you OTK with Purgatrio. Game 1, my opponent's, he was playing a Marine Cess Paleo. He had a Toad on the field. Toad negated one of my side deck cards, actually. It has 0 defense. And he took it, and he placed it on his side of the field. And my Purgatrio was 4,700 into 0 defense. Oh man, it was just OTK, no problem. All right, I've talked enough about that. Double Invocation. I'm not ballsy enough to play 1. I feel like that just, it shuts your engine off too fast because of Desires as well as other cards. Triple Allure of Darkness. This is one of the cards that I was talking about where we're going to be abusing the stack effect for Dark Magical Circle. Knowing what you're going to draw is amazing. Just digging for those combo pieces, digging for whatever you need, and just getting through your deck faster. You get into some weird game states where you can like special Apprentice Illusion Magician, discarding Invocation, banish Alistair off Allure, add back the Alistair by using the Invocation effect. There's some good applications in this deck. Every card you're playing besides Mare is a dark. And then we got 2 Pot of Desires and an Upstart. The Upstart again is for Dark Magical Circle as well as fuel for Dark Magic Inheritance. Knowing what you're going to draw and being confident that, you know, playing Upstart isn't just a blind making your deck a 39 card deck. It has an alternative purpose. And Desires, you need more cards. You're a trap based deck. You need 3 to 4 different interactions for your combo, and you just need more cards. I've never banished 3 Dark Magician. I have banished 2. The 3rd one was in my hand. And I've never been put... Every card in this deck is basically a 3 of. Now, I banished Mare for Destrudo, but it was still a free body for Link material. There's just no reason not to play Desires. Onto the traps, we're playing 3 Eternal Soul. The best and worst card in the deck, I'll say it every time. This card is so... If they cannot answer your engine, just infinite advantage. It's amazing. Popping a card, getting a body, using that card to make a Link Spider, bring back that Dark Magician. And it's just... It steamrolls. A lot of rogue decks can't keep up, which is surprising to say because this is definitely a more casual strategy. But once you are set up, you are going to just keep on going. Triple Navigation. This card is great. Everybody forgets that it can banish a banish itself to negate an effect. Hell, round 3, I forgot that because, you know, it's been a long day. I totally forgot that this card can negate a face-up spell or trap till the end of the turn. It just generates a lot of advantage. It prevents you from being OTK'd, even if you don't have Circle. Just resolving this, summoning Apprentice Illusion Magician, being able to buff up the Dark Magician, just provide additional board pressure so that you can survive, ideally. Activate this, special 2, bring back your Rod. It's a good card. You have to play 3. I do side out one of each of the traps a lot of the time when I know I'm going second. The last card in the main deck is Skill Drain. This is a 40th card. This card is really good in this deck. It basically, if you draw this and set up, it's extraordinarily difficult for you to lose that game because you can do things like normal summon Rod, activate effect, chain, illusion magic. There's just a lot of ways that you can abuse this card but that a lot of decks cannot. So if you draw this and you're halfway set up, I'm not even talking like every card that you need, you'll still do very well. So that's it for the main deck. On to the extra. It's pretty neat. We are playing one Ebon Illusion Magician. I used to play 2 of this card, and 1 Naruto the Moral Leader. You don't need more than 1 of each of these. So this is just double Apprentice. It is board presence. You threaten a negate, and it lets you climb into Ebon Illusion Magician to get that additional summon, trigger Circle, and then attack with Dark Magician to banish another card. It is very, very good, but I've never found myself needing a second one in this version of the deck. In Pure, I definitely have needed more than 1. That's it for the Xyz monsters. Onto the fusions. We're playing, I was messing around with this. I made it once today, and the idea is that you're playing Destrudo and Dark Magician. And Invocation at a very basis is polymerization from your hand. You can't use the field as fusion material for other summons, but if you have Destrudo and Dark Magician in hand, you can make this card. It came up once, it came up a few times in testing, but I'll probably cut this card for another card at the end of the extra deck list. I'll let you guys know. It's a solid card, but until we get the Dark Magician Fusion Quick Play that we're getting in January, I probably wouldn't play this card. It was just a neat idea, and that's actually why I started experimenting around with the whole Invoked engine. Onto the Invoked fusions, we're playing 1 Kaliga, 1 Purgatrio, and 1 Mechaba. I've never needed more of these. A second Mechaba has come up once. I really wish I had it, but I didn't. So maybe I'll make room for that. But because of the Destrudo package, there is very little wiggle room in here. Like, we're already at 6 monsters. The Synchro, the one of, playing Yazi for Destrudo. It's such a powerful card, can't be targeted, blows up everything. Onto the Link ones, we're playing 1 Link Spider, 1 Almirage, and 1 Secure Gardna. So the reason for Link Spider, a lot of people ask me, like, why do you play Link Spider? It's you summon Dark Magician on your opponent's turn, banish a card with Circle, make Link Spider, bring it back with Eternal Soul, banish another card. It's just an pseudo extender, I guess you can look at it like. And then for any Dark Magician players that don't play the Invoked engine, we play Almirage because you normal summon Alistair, search Invocation, make Almirage, you can make Purgatrio from there. And if you just open a bunch of trap cards or your hand's a little lackluster, you make Almirage into Secure Gardna, and it's a free Invoked Mechaba, which is a negate on your opponent's turn, and hopefully it'll slow the game down enough to where you can just play what you want to play. That's it for the Link 1s. The Link 2s, we're playing B-Cop from the Underworld, Wee Witch's Apprentice, and Nightmare Phoenix. So B-Cop from the Underworld, it's a generic Link 2, which is why I'm not playing a certain card that I'll get to in a little minute. It came up to protect Eternal Soul twice today, where you just, let's say you resolve Navigation, and you have Eternal Soul face up, and you don't want to get threatened by a Ghost Ogre or Twin Twisters or Nightmare Phoenix, which is probably the most viable option for your opponent. It protects it. So Wee Witch's Apprentice really helps with OTKs, as well as, like, sometimes you open like Rod and Apprentice Illusion Magician and they're not really doing anything for you on board. at least with Wee Witch's Apprentice, you can make it and ideally add a card back, worst case scenario. You still have the spellcaster on board to trigger Magician's Rod to tribute to add it back to your hand. Nightmare Phoenix, a relatively generic Link 2 that provides some sort of back row destruction. The Link 3s, I think the best card in the extra deck is Blackluster Soldier. When you clean up your opponent's board, and let's say you couldn't kill them, you're a little bit short, just this card being on field or before the battle phase, it threatens a lot. It's always protected by the additional effects that it has, so it can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effect. And you can make it really big, you can banish a card, you can make a second of attack next turn. It's a phenomenal pseudo boss monster for this deck, and as well it gets your Dark Magician off the field to bring back off Eternal Soul. And then the Link 4, mostly for the Yazi play, is Boral Sword. I've made it a couple of times without resolving Destrudo, but that's mostly what it's for, to threaten lethal basically at any point you have access to Destrudo. And the card I'll probably cut the fusion for is Link Haribo, so I don't have to burn like Beak Hop from the Underworld to make Boral Sword off of Mermer. That's about it. So I know that was 15 plus 1, so the 16th card was Link Haribo. I wasn't playing that today, but I probably will in the future. Onto the extra or the side deck. The best card in the side deck for Dark Magician by far is Dimension Shifter. This card, you don't need the graveyard early on. So yes, it's kind of awkward with the Invoked Engine, but it is what it is. Just don't use the Invoked Engine, side it out. Sometimes I find myself siding out 7-8 cards, and that's fine because your deck struggles going second. Dimension Shifter shuts down so many decks in the format, and unlike other decks, like you have a small use for it. It's not a big one, but you can summon it off Navigation as just a body on board. If you don't want it to bring out Apprentice Illusion Magician or another copy of Dark Magician, which I usually don't, or you banish like the rest of your targets. It's just like a secondary niche effect. And then, like I said, it was kind of for fun. I messed around with this card because it was my last locals. It was kind of funny. I knew somebody was playing this Marine Cess Engine, as well as it's a dragon to make the Dark Magician fusion, and that's about it. I resolved this was the card that my opponent, I summoned it and used the effect to blow up the cards in the column, and he had to Toad negate it. He set it to his side of the field. That was basic. I baited all his other stuff, and then Purgatrio was 4,900 attacking into Marbled Rock, summoned off of the big other Link 4 they just got, I forget, during his last turn, and I just attacked everything with Purgatrio. So this card was fun. Would I play it again? Probably not, but the side deck is literally just for fun. I wouldn't mirror it. There's good cards in here, and I'll explain why I was playing them. Nibiru, I've yet to resolve this card, but that's mostly because when I can resolve it, I don't draw it, and when I do draw it, it's a little too late. But it's a good card. It threatens your opponent, and the reason I'm playing like weird ratios is because the rest of my side deck was basically because my buddy is a massive Shaddoll fan. Shout out to the Duel Factory for any of you that know. We're here playing 3 Shaddoll Fusion on top of 1 Trick Clown, 1 Dragon, 1 Beast, and Construct and Winda. And that was just because it was my last locals and I wanted my buddy just to get a good laugh. So the deck was phenomenal today. I would recommend trying this build of Dark Magician out. And if you have any questions about, why I played this deck, why I chose the cards I did, or why I didn't play it another way, please let me know. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Just I'll post other deck profiles. We do our Yu-Gi-Oh podcast every Monday. It goes up on iTunes and iTunes and Google Play at 8 a.m. every Monday. It goes on YouTube on my channel at 10 a.m. We talk about anything and everything. I do it with the Duel Factory. It's called X2 Drop. If you haven't checked it out, please go ahead. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.